We have people. Hey, everybody. How are you guys tonight? Hey, Garrett. For I never know how to pronounce your name, but I appreciate you being here. Kaysen's gonna be late, but he should be here. If not, I know where to find him. Hold on, my light is a little bright. It's making me look a little day glow. Let's see. Well, hello. I do love the Expanse music, and I've sat and listened to. There's people who've made it into like a really long loop. Well, hello guys, which is always quite nice. I love the Expanse. I love the music that they did for it. I think that it's a pretty Karutan. Okay, I will do my best to remember that. I'll absolutely do my best. How about I move my buttons here so I can see what people are saying? Okay, now it's in front of me. Um, so Kaysen will be late tonight. However, we are going to continue and soldier on without him. I have notes tonight because I have a lot I want to cover. We're going to be talking tonight about a lot about the PTC update. Now, to be fair, the PTC, the stuff on the public test client, there's a lot. I will only be scratching the surface because it's a lot. And there are people who have played more and deeper into it than I have. Well, hello there. And so I won't be covering it as deeply as maybe some other videos that have covered in specific spots. So we're going to kind of give it a broad overview for people who are kind of unsure, who haven't been in the official Discord, or just we're gonna talk about the PTC tonight. Um, I think, yeah, I think that's the stuff for the start. Let me not like my pen off. I do believe they do hit harder. I heard that since they did the patch yesterday that they've slapped a lot harder, which is saying a thing because they were supposed to be in the regular overland locations are supposed to be about the level of the DD Aero ish. Of course, the testing stations themselves are scalable, defaulting to 3, I think. So yeah, they were spicy before, and I do have some footage of some stuff. I got very lucky. For those of you who remember from the beta, there was Croniel. He took me around to some places. The advantage being that he and I have played together, so he's familiar with my playstyle. The disadvantage is the man is a machine, and I didn't get as much actual combat footage as I wanted because by the time I got caught up to him, everybody was dead. But so. Um, I do have some stuff to show you, including some stuff with the rapier because there's been some interesting commentary about the rapier, and I got a little bit of the footage of the dual blades that Vlad dropped for us to play with. They are still locked behind stories, so we can't actually make them yet. But I got a hold of them, and I think I'm in love. I actually, yeah, I'm loving them. So, so some admin stuff to get out of the way. If you are new here and you are interested in hanging out with us, exclamation point Discord will give you the link to my Discord. We are mostly harmless. We've been playing together for a while. Yeah, come hang out with us. Um, it was great. If you want to support me, you can also sub, but I have merch. Exclamation point merch should show you my um, stuff. My son designed all of that. And the probably the biggest thing right now is exclamation point Dune purchase. If you have not already purchased the game, you can purchase it through me. I get a little tiny bit. I think the game is on sale, so it should apply. So fingers crossed. We're coming up on an ad, so I'm going to stall until then. So I don't want to start anything when people aren't able to watch because that whole ad thing is kind of meh. So there we go. Watching everything scroll by. Bob does the job. I don't know if the um, bot works on YouTube. I apologize for that. Bum, bum, bum. I cannot pop over to drop the link right now. I'm sorry. If someone is able to pop over and drop the link to the Discord, I appreciate that. Bob's sitting over there by himself. Sorry. it's a hazard. Unfortunately, the bots, I managed to finally get them to work properly on Discord, on Twitch. Yes, that one. Trying to get it to work elsewhere has been a challenge. So bear with me while the tech chooses not to cooperate. And is the ad break over? I can't tell. I think so. It may have been a short ad break. I don't know why the screen keeps flickering that way, and it's bugging me. I'm seeing it too. It's not just you guys. It's not just it's on my end. It knows I'm talking about it. I'm hoping it's not my motherboard, because this particular motherboard does not like USB connections. And yeah, sorry about that, Bob. I'm trying to think how to get that to you. Give me a second. Maybe I can find it for you. Bum. Invite to server. Copy. And I'm gonna have to jump over to YouTube. It's just, I'm not used to doing. There's too many. Don't confuse me with the buttons. Don't confuse me with the buttons. My videos. There's a whole lot of hoops to jump through to get from here to there. And we are live. Oh, thank you, Sorvina. You are awesome. Thank you. You guys are great. I'm so lucky. Ad break ends in 13 seconds, and then we can move forward. You guys are awesome. Thank you. That flickering. Sorry about that. Like I said, I think my motherboard's trying to fuzz out on me. Okay, the ad break should be over, so I guess that means it's time for us to jump into the PowerPoint. Today's PowerPoint is quite short. You guys will appreciate its lividity. Hopefully, if I stall enough, then Kaysen will be here sooner than later and can, continue to offer us our exciting commentary that we know that he offers. Oh, we got new peoples. I love new peoples. We're mostly painless. We're mostly nice people. And I'm hitting buttons. Give me a second. So there is a lot to talk about. There's so many different things with the PTC. So we're going to kind of gloss over to some things. But there's a lot that I do want to talk about. So let's go ahead and do our PowerPoint, and then we can jump into, like I said, I do have some video footage of some things from the PTC. We are at episode 23. Can you believe that? We're almost there. I have not forgotten my promise to look at hosts for setting up. Like, I think Spotify has a free thing for video hosting, so I will look at that. But I know Spotify's kind of got some things going on. So the problem is most podcasts for free hosting are audio only. And given the nature of this particular one, because it's so visual, because it is a video game, I don't want to lose that visual to host it someplace else. It would lose kind of its purpose, I think, if we went just audio. So Desert Dispatch. If you have not already gotten your observer set, you can continue to get them until the 14th. You got 4 more days, or probably about the time the next chapter comes up, they're going to be added to a vendor in either Harco Village or Arakeen. It's where they are in the test client, so they're testing it out now. So you could buy them later for Solari. Either way, you can get them free now, or you can buy them with Solari later if you haven't already gotten them, which I think is reasonable. Just that reminder that we do have a roadmap. I've seen lots of complaints in the official Discord about delays, and I'm like, we had a 2-week delay at launch, and then they pushed back testing for the building backup tool a couple of weeks because it wasn't ready. And honestly, I'd rather them push things back if they're not ready, especially some of the things that are coming, like transfers, those need to be 100% all the time. So if they're not ready, I'm prefer them to wait. But in general, they've given us a window for things, and I think in general we've kept to that. Any delays I think have been minimal. And so we know we've got the revamped end game, which we're going to talk about some today, and the next DLC. I'm really looking forward to that DLC. I want some new furniture. I'm always down for some new placeables. Can't complain about that. So PTC. So some reasons to do the new Landsraad. This is some Atreides light armor. This is a faction reward, and I think that looks pretty slick. I don't know what colors he's got going with that. Hello, how are you? Um, but just the armor itself looks pretty cool. Yeah, I'm always down for new stuff. This one is the Atreides Rusher faction armor. You get that at level 19, and looks pretty good. You can't see anything. Oh crap! Hold on. Why? Why is it being this way? Hold on. Screen. That's okay. Show us the PowerPoint, Meg. Press the buttons, Meg. Dead button. Yeah. Dead button walking. Okay, that's okay. It's okay. I'm not sure what the plan is for things. My personal thinking is they're going to let people transfer where they want to first. Then we'll see the people come back for the story for chapter 3. They'll come back for the new content and the new stuff to do. And when those numbers settle, I think then they'll start giving us some metrics for mergers and transfers and that sort of thing. But to do it now, before all of those things come, before we know what numbers are, I don't think that it makes sense to worry too much about transfers. I don't know what their plan is. Hopefully they'll give us some numbers soon. I know, practicing for Spotify. But yes, episode 23, Desert Dispatch. This is our news section here. Back to those Twitch drops. Again, if you haven't already gotten them, they're still available for a little bit, or you can buy them later in game for Solari. Solari is easy to come by. Especially now, the Landsraad, you go kill 35 sandflies, you get it. Or, when it changes, there'll still be some easy ones. So it won't be, money will still come. Money will still come. Go sell a rad suit. Roadmap. Things are coming. I think there's also some confusion on the water wars. And I've seen people think that that's going to be a PvP thing. I'm like, I think this is going to be, because it's a DLC, I don't think it's going to be PvP based. So, but I don't know. Yeah, I think then that is a legitimate question around transfers and mergers. Is people build around specific spots. So we've our world has picked up some people over the Christmas break. So there's popular spots where people build, and those will be there can be some concerns about where stuff will go and how things will land. And so we want to make sure it lands right, because I've been playing, our group has been playing since day one. We've been together since before launch, since beta. To lose all of that stuff would probably break my heart. So we've got to make sure those things work. There needs to be a solid plan. So I'm wanting to be hopeful and believe that there's a plan coming. Atreides light armor. This is a faction reward. I think that looks pretty cool. I don't know what swatch he's got going on it, but it looks pretty badass. Of course, you can swatch these. Yes. I've mentioned this to other people as well. When you are getting ready, if you've got a base built probably around like the shield wall, if your base is built around the rift, or places where there's lots of POI, before you pack up, whip out your construction tool and take a peek around for no build zones. And because many of them have changed since launch. And so you want to make sure that you can put your stuff back the way it is. If you are unsure, what I would do is I would build a box and stick all my stuff in the box and then take that with me to move elsewhere. Because if you have, hey, Cole, someplace that's built right now that's got a lot of no build zones around it, you're probably going to suffer a little bit because some of the build zones have expanded and you can't put your base back the way it was. So hopefully, that's something that's easy to manage. We just have to kind of be aware of going forward what could happen and do what we can on our part to not make it a mess. The Rusher faction level Atreides armor, level 19. Again, I think it looks pretty cool. I think there's a light armor. They have some nice helmet looks. Not that anybody wears a helmet, but, because we all run around helmetless. Some people have some really amazing creative bases, and some of us just have boxes. So, like one of our D in our group has this amazing base that's up overlooking the Sheol, and it's up on the shield wall where lots of people build. It's very scenic, but because lots of people build there, it's probably going to be very popular. I think where we have built will be hard to. I think people will have built there too. So I hope that I'm liking where we're at. I hope we don't have to move. So yeah. This one's Spice Worker. I'm going to guess it's under a crafting type armor. But again, I'm loving we have some new options. And box bases are great. Now, there is new Harkonnen stuff, but the people who are testing haven't showed it yet. So I've been keeping my eyes open. As I see new stuff, I will grab some things. But yes, there are new Harkonnen sets. I just don't have any pictures of. Someone mentioned an armor that has almost like the cape is almost like a sheer, and I've seen it on some NPC, like a sheer. It looks good, like LeMay, very flashy. The Harkonnens always look good. This one is a Thopter helmet. I don't know what the armor is that they're wearing, but this one was a hop. Yeah. But that's a kind of a close up. It fits on the helm. I keep telling myself one of these days I'm going to go to Harkonnen go make an alt, just because I haven't run that one yet, and I don't know what any of the like the dialogue and stuff is, which would be kind of cool to see, just to kind of see. It is supposed to be a Thopter pilot. I think so, Cole, but I'm not sure. This one, he said, was the Mentat armor. Looks very like it should be part of the MCU. It does. It looks like part of the MCU. Sorry, I'm really cold, so I made some hot chocolate right before I came on because it's cold, and I closed my door so my son doesn't have to listen to me. This one's listed as combat helm. Very Star Wars. Very Star Wars. It's kind of a Star Wars samurai vibe, which, to be fair, Star Wars has got a samurai vibe, but yeah. That chin strap is very dignifying. This one listed as crafter helm. Hold on a moment. I just got to ping this 1 second. With the blast shield. It's pretty much. I think Kaysen is here. Let me bring him in. Waha. There he is.
Hello. Sorry I'm late.
No, it's okay. Let me hide. Okay. We were just talking about some of the cool stuff that's coming. That is the new helmet in the crafter tree. I have no idea how he's seeing anything because his eyes are covered, and It does look a bit like tech, but his goggles are up here. I don't know. I have no idea
Magic.
how that's supposed to work, but it looks badass. So what can you do? And this one is the sabotage helmet. I have no idea where this inspiration comes from, but there you go. It looks like something you would see on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles back in the 80s. It's- it has that vibe. Excuse me. And naturally, he gets here and has to run because kids.
I, I was having issues with the mic for some reason. I don't know what was going on.
Story of my life. Um, so the dual blades. This is from the Adept one. So obviously the Regis ones will be significantly better. Um, 54 damage. I've got some video footage. We still can't make them yet because they are story locked, but there were some out A6, I think, where the pilot is in the deep desert. There, Vlad had set up some boxes. He said, "Don't go crazy and take a bajillion of them." But there's some there. There were some there yesterday for people who wanted to give them a try. So this is what one of the augments looks like. So you can, when you augment something, it reduces the durability. So there is an augment that you can find that negates that. You can also put points into crafting, which negates that. So you can actually have, after all is said and done, you can have quite a positive net. So instead of having like 100 durability, you could have like 150. So but at first feels like a little damaging because you can't get that durability back right away. Over time, your crafting will negate that.
Oh,
They are pretty
that's
cool
helpful.
daggers. Yep. They form a marriage of razor sharp mayhem, and when you see them, um, so people were asking about the testing stations. So the new testing stations are scalable. They default to level 3. And then if you went to level 4, you have to run level 3. And if you want to go level 5, you have to run level 4, all the way through to level 100. This is from level 20. And so as you scale up, it'll tell you what damage and things change and what your possible rewards are. Your drop rates will go up for potential goodies with the pain. So, you can pick your pain. One thing to keep in mind for those of us who don't like the pain. Say you have a Landsraad contract that takes you into testing station number 24. You can set that to level 1 and still finish the Landsraad contract. You'll still get the points. That does not change. So if you don't like the pain or don't want the pain, you don't have to take the pain. If you are if you like the pain, if you are wanting, because it's like these drop rates for this armor, for these augments and things, you can do that. The more difficult ones you run, the greater rewards you can get back. There are in these and in the overland, just the regular spots. There's some. It's like running on the deep desert. You'll get a few, some plasteel plates or whatever. There's you'll get some of those things from both, but you don't have to do the painful parts if you don't want to. There will be completionists though who will want the pain, and by all means, it's there for them. And to increase those augments and increase your levels. And we'll talk a little bit more about that uh, when we get through the PowerPoint. Yeah, people are hearing case and giggle. So this one's for level 22, and it goes up just a little bit. So level 21, the enemy health damage from 3 being your baseline to level 20 was 2391. This one's 2394. So it's just a little bit. But that's still a significant jump. And what is that power that I always forget what it's called when you go to like the heavies and they is it the shield blast thing? The melee guys have that shit, and I do not like it. I, I do not like it.
Oh, the one where they like curl up in a ball and then there's the big boom and yeah, I hate that.
Yeah, slower progression with the augments and tier 6 drops. Correct. Correct. So it'll still have some drops. It'll still have one or two augments. Like we ran the fire lab at level 1 just to kind of see what it was because I'm the weak one, right? And I still got the pyro thing at the end, and I still got a couple of augments. I don't remember what I got now. You still get a few things, but the higher tier ones and the greater rewards will scale up. So it's kind of a risk versus reward thing. If you are there for the Landsraad stuff and just want to get in and out, bump it to 1. If you're wanting to chase those rewards or chase those augments, then you'll want to start looking at scaling. And I'm hoping one question that a lot of people have had is group finding. How do you find people to run these with? Because it recommends when you go into these labs, best run with a group. There'll be a global faction chat, so that could be a way to find people to run these with. The only thing you've got to remember is these are all instanced, so you'll need to have your team set before you go in. Otherwise, you're going to go in by yourself. Yeah, this is dispenser blast, and the melee guys have that, and that's just not right. The flip side of that is when you hit them with grenades, their shields drop. So I think it's forcing us to kind of diversify our play styles a little bit, and that way, like one in your team has the grenades, and what's the Mentat one? It's not the grenade; it's the Hunter Seeker. You need to have some variety in there to get best results. I mean, you can play everybody exactly the same if that floats your boat, but it'll probably be more efficient to diversify. This is the lightning gun. You get it from the lightning lab, and so it's got a base damage of 179, and this is something that you can put augments on. So it's the EMP blast disrupts shields, so that people will like, I think, because getting through shields, I think, is a challenge. And as these guys scale up, so do their shields. So you're going to want to be prepared for that. Like, so go in low tier the first time, see what you need to do but they're like a lot of other games where there's a pattern, which the pattern. Yeah, there's lots of conversation in the PTC. This is another thing that was kind of difficult for me to follow because there's lots to talk about things are out of balance, and because I haven't run as much, I don't know what that feels like. I don't know exactly how to apply that because yeah, that would break PvP. So it does need to be balanced before they drop that into the wild for people. And this you can get from the Poison Lab. These are this is something unusual. This blueprint actually has 5 uses, not 1. Haven't seen that since early beta. But so when you go into the Poison Lab, now you have some resistance against that if you weren't smart and did not take the Bene Gesserit training tree. I think this is also when it was back to diversify people. I think this is kind of a gentle nudge to them to say, people remind you to go take those, spend the time. Spend the time to take those trainers because they are beneficial to you. It's worth taking all of the trainers and spending some time doing their more drugs. Is what we need is more drugs. It's a lot of melange.
I mean, considering the state of the world, drugs sounds good. Don't do drugs, kids.
We are on Arrakis. It's all drugs. It's all about the drugs. Community roundup. This got dropped into my Discord, and I thought it fit quite well. Uh, I have a lot of people remind me daily, Kason being one. You know, don't argue with people on the internet. And yeah,
Yeah, you got to remember they're not there to try and win an argument or have a discussion. They're there because they get some kind of kink out of making you angry, and So yeah,
yeah,
okay. Have a good day. Goodbye.
yeah. And I mean, I've resorted to not even have a good day, have a day. You know,
No, I want to say have a just have a good day because it takes all the fun out of it for them.
I did ask. I felt a little bad. I did ask someone, is there a bridge near you somewhere that's lonely? But
I don't feel bad. I once asked somebody if why they can be so against abortion but be the best case for it.
oof.
I I got
Anyway,
in trouble for that one.
back to Dune. Back to Dune. Back to Dune. This is from Noodle Fang on the official Discord. This was one of their early deep desert paces.
Why is it staring at me?
It is. It's just a cat, and they're staring at you because that's what cats do.
It's so creepy.
It
Really
is
cool
very.
building though. I like it,
It
but
is.
yeah, just the eyes and the just never ending stare.
It is. It is staring at you. This one's called Brutalist Spice Factory by Sortax on Reddit. And I thought actually, instead of just making it a big box, I thought, they added some texture to it. It's got something nice going on. And that's the same thing from the inside. So I mean it's actually pretty cool. Pretty cool build, I thought. It's a lot of Penta shields though.
Oh yes, that is a lot of power in
Yeah.
water.
They just fixed the bug too about the Penta shield power, so that helps. But yeah, that's up on Reddit. There's several more pictures that, unfortunately, people take pictures at night, so they're kind of dark. So this one's called "Buggy Handstand" by Weebly Reddit on Reddit. Been there, done that many times, and that is not
Yep.
a place you want to get stuck.
Well, I
Uh,
mean, there was like that time I came up to your base and fell into the rift and on my sand bike. Yeah, I figured out I was not ready for that at all.
Sorbina, to answer your question, yes, the cost should be identical now because one was like way off, so they should be the same now. I was close. There's so much stuff on the PTC now, I'm just yeah. Derpsbane shared this on the official Discord with kind of the comment of a strong wind is going to take that down. I don't even know why you would do such a thing because you can't get. I mean, yeah, you could use your suspensor belt, but you kind of want that suspensor belt for other things, and you're going to chew it up just going from your base to your to your vehicle. It's going to be gone. But I guess just because you can. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, I've got nothing because that just one night with a little too much spice and yeah, wee.
Yeah. Another one from Gamma Scroll on the official Discord. That is, of course, the Harco Fort uh, in Haga Basin. I think it looks really good.
The character though with the eyes closed. It's like
It's a
I'm gonna
great
get this
light.
amazing shot, and of course my eyes are closed.
That armor is pretty kick ass. That armor
Oh
does look
yes.
good. Also from Gamma Squirrel, out there in the deep desert. See, I'm always worried about getting spice on the side of a dune, because that's almost always I will glitch into the you know how the thopter can't ever decide when it's parked, are my wings out, are they in, are they out, and that will be decided when it has that's when it will get confused if I'm on a hill, and then I'll
Ow.
end up getting eaten. Yep, I love that armor. Gimp suit. This is Haga Basin by JVCD on Reddit. Someone taking great pictures. That's out. That's on the power plant, if I do recall.
Looks like it from the because you can see the hammer and the table
Yep,
and a little
and
bit of Godzilla right above her head.
Crossroads is right there in front of her. So
Oh,
yeah, she's
ads.
standing up on the power plant. Up ads. So we're gonna wait a minute. So someone needs to tell me when ads are over because I can't see that screen right now. So we will pause. Doo-dee-doo.
Oh, it was a Twitch Turbo ad.
Mm. Okay, all the better. Someone okay, I think it was Kaysen was saying something about the Harkonnens all look goths. Someone posted this on. This is it was labeled Harkonnen make cute goth girls by Tavenji on Reddit. That actually is cute.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, they every Harkonnen, like they're standing out there in full sun. They would be redder than my avatar right now. Just like,
Yeah, but most of us like my character looks like she's scowling. She's like like old and given something like lemons. She looks like she's actually not old and cranky. That green trim on that armor does look good.
oh yeah,
Whoever made that character did an amazing job. She's very cute. This was Home Sweet Home by Old Man Rob on Reddit. Someone else who has power to burn, because that is a lot of power.
yeah. Well, I mean, they do experience the sun, but they don't get the same wavelength. So when they would come to Arrakis, you would think it'd be a different kind of wavelength. So he would actually cook their skin because they're used to evolutionarily they're used to one type and now they got a new type. So that is a lot of pentashields, though.
That is a lot of pentashields. But hey, at least they don't have to worry about the light limit because they can actually see outside.
Well, yeah,
Um, this was the House Vernius swatch. Friendatex posted this on Reddit. For those of you who, I still haven't gotten all the swatches. I just have not. I just haven't gotten around to it. I know I
I
should.
just don't have that time. Yeah,
It's a lot of time, and I'm not going to run the Landsraad that hard on any given week. Sorry. It's a nice one, and if you know the story,
I don't.
you will. This was Operation Spice Harvest by Daughter of Dune on Reddit. It, it kind of does. It kind of does. Heading out to the deep desert.
Yeah, the deep desert for some reason reminds me. I don't know if everybody's played KOTOR, Knights of the Old Republic, the first one back in like 2000.
Around early 2000s.
Yeah, but the fact that I can think of it is like it was like I was in high school, so it was 2001, 2002, which that's some bullshit.
Uh, Shush.
But when you go to the end of the map in like Tatooine, and it's got the big dunes, and it says the thing like you know, you look out and you can only see wandering waste and junk metal, and you would probably die out there. And like every time I go out to the deep desert now and I see that, I just that pops back in my head. And I'm like, yeah, that's pretty accurate, though. I mean,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This one was called Sunrise Glide by Excellent Cow 9536 on Reddit. I think so many of us have taken these shots.
yeah,
This game is so freaking beautiful. The way the shadows and everything move when the sun rises and sets is just, it's stunning. It's absolutely stunning. This one was called Two Moons and Fangs of Makeb by Marnicle on the official Discord. It's a really nice catch of the silhouette of the Sentinel.
Yeah, I could see like you crash your Thopter, and within like 20 minutes, a bunch of Jawas have it stripped down to nothing. And it's like, and like they're racing the worm to get there to get your stuff first.
Yeah. This one's one I took, just because occasionally I take pictures too. This is one of the Moscaret siege ruins in the Udom. When a sandstorm came through, the light hit just right. I wish I'd taken it without the shield on, but I thought it looked good.
And kind of highlights you and makes it easier to, figure out where you're at.
A little bit. Somebody upgraded their armor.
The only thing I don't like about this new armor is like in real life, it'd be like an inch and a half of exposed neck. And I'm like, that would be the spot that gets like absolutely cooked. And I get all the cancer right there.
There's a reason they're called rednecks.
If you can't tell from my accent, I live in an area like that, so I'm used to it.
This is taken from the Atreides cave where the not atomics are. I thought that would turn out to be a really good shot.
Oh, that's pretty.
It is pretty. And of course, our space hippies.
Oh, the space hippies.
Now, I haven't finished running them because I don't always stop, but somebody may have run this, so correct me if I'm wrong, but someone was saying if you run all of their contracts for these guys, they will eventually buy your spice food from you. So those piles and piles of spice food and beer that you have that you just get every freaking where, they'll buy it from you, which would be great because after a bit you just stop picking stuff up. And this way it could actually be worth something. I think the funniest one though is I went to place the marker in the Sheol, and I'm like, they went out there and they died of radiation poisoning. So you have to go out there and risk radiation poisoning too. I know we're about to start. People are like, I don't use prescience. You might, because
I look like an elf from World of Warcraft. Why would I use it? I mean,
just you wait and see. Just you wait and see. All the Modia bone sticks. And that's, I think when we get to the PTC or when we get to that stuff to live, I think people will be I think the learning curve for a lot of people will be quite steep. There will be some who are like, I did it with nothing but, naked and a shiv, and that's fine. There's always going to be somebody who can do that, and by all, power to them. That will not be most of us. That will not be most of us. So PTC. So let's talk about stuff. First thing I want to show you is rapiers, because I love the rapiers. I don't have any of the flamey gun, but I do have some footage of the rapiers that we can look at. Now, before we get into this, somebody was saying that there's a lot of hate for the new rapiers. They don't like it. We were told that you can parry and attack at the same time. Someone was saying that you can't slow blade with it. And I'm like, you literally just got your hands on it. It's a new skill. It's not the old rapier skill. And sorry about this. Is at night. This is the best I could do. And I drew him away so I didn't get anybody shooting at us, because I just wanted it to be... Look, parry and stab.
Yeah,
Very
that's a lot more involved than it was with the old one that I've been using now. It's just kind of like you slash stab. That's all you do.
It's actually, and they did tell us in the dev stream that it was a different skill, and it's meant definitely for dueling. It's not good for AOE. Um, so if you're wanting AOE stuff, you're wanting like the Eye of the Storm really to work. You're probably gonna want to go back to the regular sword for that, because this one's not going to be that. But if you are a player who likes the speed, obviously I'm not going to do the same damage as the swords do. But if you like the speed and you can get that click just right, um, and again, it's not for everybody, and that's okay. We just got it. Um, but to say that you can't do that, I'm like, you can. Well, I can. I mean, I think everybody could do it. But I get why people won't like it, and that's okay. Everybody won't be great with every weapon. Um, so let me make sure I had anything else I wanted to add about the rapiers. I actually took notes. One person was saying that they believed melee is broke because it takes stamina and range doesn't. And I'm like, that makes sense though. I can get my stamina back because, and I'm moving, so I'm going to use stamina. Using ranged, obviously, you're only doing this. You don't need stamina, but you will use darts. And so I think it's a balance. And I sacrifice a little stamina for the slow blade that will go through. You know, um, I hope, and then I've seen lots of talk in the PTC Discord about the shields and scaling, and they keep throwing numbers out, and I'm like, eh. So I think that we need some balance passes. I think even if it goes live soon, I think it still needs. We're going to get more feedback and balance passes. I don't think we've ever had a um, PTC wave be this active. So hopefully people are giving actionable feedback and doing bug reports. Um, Dual blades. I want to show off my dual blades because these were badass. So this is against a rapier. Oh, I hate it when they punch me back. How dare they? Gotta wait for my stamina to come back. And I went against these guys because all of their melee guys have the rapier. How dare you run away from me?
That was a nice dodge, by the way.
Thank you. For all my self-depreciation, I'm not the worst at combat. You will lose stamina really fast. And they don't have great durability. So I played with them for 30 minutes and they were down to 95 health. I don't know. I can't repair them. Part of the stamina loss may be because I haven't capped all of the trainers.
Well, I mean, it does seem to have a lot of flashy moves too. So
Yeah, I mean, you are moving a lot.
And look, somebody gets mad at me for carrying everything, and then you go and loot it all. Mm-hmm. That's how it is.
I need that sand trout leather. Is the thing. And there is stamina stuff. So the new the new skill set stuff, you can, yeah. Like I said, I can see why some people won't like it, especially if they're going into like the testing stations. Those bosses are not great for melee. Um, yeah, I am getting a lot of hits in, and I think, excuse me, there will be some who really really like it. There'll be some that really hate it. I excuse me, I will carry them. I don't know if I would main melee them though. I think I will carry them and the rapier and kind of, whatever suits the mood at the moment. But what I'm seeing is where I can run most of everything in Haga Basin melee, or spit dart. That's my two things to use. I may have to learn to change it up because what I'm seeing is in these testing stations in these locations are a little tougher. The testing stations more so than the new locations. I like the new locations just because you can go slow in those, where the testing stations you're locked into a space, which is a different feel. Did I have anything else to add on the slow blades? Boom, 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 boom. Okay, Landsraad. Lots of questions about the Landsraad. So let's look at what we have here. We want a video because I have. So I know there's been lots of other creators who have done videos on some of the other contracts and things. But I wanted to look at one I think that my group will run. We are not combat machines. We also don't have a whole lot of time as a group to do stuff together. We're across 3 countries. We are, there's a 5-hour time zone difference between like me and Kaysen, and then like Paolo's in Brazil. So we don't get together and play together very often. So if we're wanting Landsraad rewards, we're going to need things that are something we can do with a short amount of time, right? So very similar to what we have now, right? And I'm going to look at, so that one's open. So right now, if I want the 10,000 Solari, like before, it is 700 points, right? So the points are the same. The rewards currently are very similar. Hopefully that gets some TLC too. I have never seen a board this busy before, but I think, and this came up earlier today too, I think the board is busy not because people are trying to dominate the board. The board is busy because people are out there incidentally running labs that happen to put points towards it. Excuse me. So I don't think it's people trying to win. It's just people are testing and those points are racking up. Excuse me. So if I wanted the house wallet, I can click on, they've got 3 different contracts. Rift Run is in Haga Basin, which entices me because I don't have to zone. And it's in, even if it has combat, it's combat that I know I can handle because I can handle anything in Haga Basin. Right? The Tai Chi is in the Overland. So I'm like, I don't know who that second Atreides guild could be. I have no idea. And then Fremen Finds is in Smuggler's Run, which is Masquerade. So I was like, no, I don't want that. So I'm going to do one in the Rift Run. And so now what we see here is my contract for my personal rewards. I will get 6,000 Solari for doing that. Okay. Not counting what's on the board. I'm going to get 6,000 Solari. I'm going to get 350 XP and 1,000 points towards my contribution. So I needed 700 for that first reward. I'm going to get 1,000. Easy peasy. I've already made my 10,000 Solari that I wanted. So most of these are 1,000 contribution points. Some of them might be 750. But you run one, you've got the first tier, right? So they're not overly, you're not going to spend, you don't have to spend a lot of time doing them. Then you have the other side here, which are, so this one is an exploration type contract. So when we go into my skills, this adds to my skill tree for the exploration. I get house script, which goes to those really cool armors that we saw earlier, and faction standing, which increases my faction level. If I want to run higher level testing stations, my faction level needs to match. Okay. Are we with me?
Not really, but we'll
Okay. Where
pretend.
did I lose you? It's okay to ask.
No, I'm just being pedantic,
Okay.
like always.
It's okay. It's a whole new system, and I'm just now kind of getting my brain wrapped around it. And we are very lucky we got several PTC players in here who can correct me if I get it wrong.
It's the internet. You know they will.
Well, we got what's kind of cool about this is I can go and think if I'm wanting to win the board, right? I need to look at the board and see where things are open, and I need to pick either someone's close and I'll grab from that, or if I'm trying to get 5 in a row, I can grab from that row, or if I want to get exploration XP, I can come to this tab and just run all exploration ones. Or if I want to go to a specific location, if I want to go to the Broodworks, I can just click through here and I can grab 3 to the Broodworks and run them simultaneously.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. And it's like we've talked about it off stream before, too, that, I really like it because it's not just deliver 10,000 guns to X house and 10,000 resource to Y house. And, there was a potential for spamming it there.
The hoarding
And
is a problem.
yeah. And I mean, griefers you're still finding bases where it's like, yeah, it's falling apart. And somehow they had 10,000 plasteel or something. And it's like, huh.
Yeah. Thankfully, we haven't had too much of that on our world, which is quite good. Oh, that's actually pretty handy. So Ravina said that they've added. So back on the board, it'll show you which house is working towards which specialization. So right now on here, I know that that house is doing exploration. But again, we have these options. You could be running for your XP. You could be running for specific rewards. You could be running to control the board. And so, you know, I don't think this also came up kind of in conversation earlier today. Um, I don't think there'll be a sudden interest in running the Landsraad because there hasn't been before. A lot of people are very dismissive of it. They don't like it. I don't think a lot of people will focus on the board as a meaningful thing. I mean, it's here now and we have it, but I think people are going to be looking at the rewards versus the board control, which is fine.
Yeah. I mean,
There's no wrong way to grab a contract and go do shit.
yeah. Well, I mean, the rewards lately, at least on our siege, I mean, I don't know for everybody because I haven't been everywhere, but they just been kind of meh.
They have been kind of the RNG doesn't like it. So things like the water tubes come up like once every 5 or 6 weeks. I haven't seen the Triforged pistons in months. But if you want, diamond dine blade parts, I'm like, I don't. I really don't. So there's not been a whole lot of motivation for me to run those rewards. Now this being able to up my combat stuff, to be able to put points into being better at combat or to be better at crafting. Those are good motivations to try to run these things because then I can make things for people that doesn't lose as much durability. Or I'll show you some of the. We talked about this last time. Where you could look at and get skills, so you could get a greater backpack, or increase essentially your sneak range so you don't get in, you don't aggro people as fast. So those are good reasons to pick these things up. Then it may not be the primary reason for some people, but they're nice to have. So and this contract actually came up today as part of a discussion around so this one is super easy. You go to there's a spot in Haga Basin. You're going to do it, and you're going to run a short relay. It takes like 10 minutes, and then bam, you have 1,000 points. You've made your first tier, and you get a little XP towards exploration.
Hmm.
And I know I picked this one because you, Kason, are a nervous flyer. So you get to pick. There's two different houses that are having this one. If you can't remember, because I have the memory of a goldfish, you just go back to the house board. Look, Wallach is the one I was wanting, and then you come back and you grab the contract for the house that you want. If you're particular, you can grab 3 contracts. Right. So if you were wanting to go to a specific location, you can grab 3 in that location and just run them back to back, which is quite nice. This is what we did when we went to the Broodworks. Is just run them back to back. So you go find the spot. All right. It says turn off the surveillance sensor, and then you just fly through some. It's not even a hard race. All right. So it's like 40 seconds in between. Yeah, you got like 42 seconds to the next one. And so you basically you're racing yourself because next time you run it, there'll be a best time to match. They do make it this corner's a little tight though. That's not just me. They put pillars there. But you know what? I remembered something. Back when Hefe was on, Hefe had made the comment that he wanted to see more videos of people flying through Haga Road because he wasn't seeing a whole lot of people flying down in it. And I'm like, because it's hard to fly in, you're bouncing off the walls. And so this is what he does to us. He's making this pinball off the walls. But so you got like 30 seconds to get from that relay to this one. And then voila, mission complete. And then it will pop up. I have my 1,000 Landsraad contribution, which will get me the 10,000 Solari that I wanted. It will give me another 1,600 Solari credit. And then I will get recollections and house script, which will help me buff my stuff. Because that's a good reason to run it if you want to buff our stuff. There's no booster on this because this is the PTC, and I don't have the materials to make the booster. I ran all over the place thinking, do I have them? I don't have the materials for the booster. I forget what I needed that I don't have. But yeah, you'll want the booster for it. But yeah, because the deep desert was broke for like a week or two, I don't have the stuff to make a booster. Yeah, but this is one of the reasons I've been. So here we go. So you'll open up your specializations. This is under your skills, right? And at the bottom, you'll see a tab that says skills. And so this is your new specialization screen. And I have XP in the top one, which is crafting. I have a little bit in combat, and I have a little bit in subterfuge. Because that's the types of contracts that I've been running. And then I can put more points to that. So if I want to add more augments to my weapons, I can do that. But I have to run combat or I have to run crafting contracts to get my crafting XP up.
I think this is one of those I'm just gonna have to like see it in game in the live game, not the PTC, and just kind of play around with it to kind of
Yes.
really wrap my head fully around it because
Yeah. It's
I mean
like
some of it makes sense, but some of it I'm like, what?
it's a lot. It's a lot. So like this one, I like Headhunter is under the subterfuge one. I took it as an option because I shoot people in the head a lot. So it would give me a little damage bump. I'll take it. But each time you spend this XP does cost a little bit of melange, which is another reason I've been trying to get us to run so hard because we got to be ready for. See, that one's going to be really handy because anytime you use the thruster, your vehicle generates heat. And you can, if you go from node to node to node with your buggy, your cutter will overheat. So this will give you a heat reduction bonus. Now keep in mind that's like
Huh.
level 2. There's 100 levels
Yeah.
for that. So, you know, so for combat, I have 3 points. Woo.
Well, one thing I've kind of wondered is, are they going to turn up how much spice melange you can get, or is it just going to kind of stay the same? I
Um,
mean, I haven't really been out to farm spice a lot because still squishy.
yeah. No, you can go out and like D will go out to a medium spice blow and will fill up that medium thopter and not cover the whole thing, the whole blow. If we had a harvester, we could do it much faster. But then that takes us into the big spice blows are in PvP area, which we aren't going to go.
Yeah,
Um,
I
so
like that
you,
increased health. That health bar shrinks really fast when your shield disappears.
it does, it does. So these are just you can run specific contract types for a specific training thing that you want. You can do it, if you're wanting to control the board, if you're wanting just to run contracts in Haga Basin, or if you're wanting to run contract in specific places. There's a variety of ways that you could pick which contracts you want to run,
Yeah,
right? So this is me just kind of showing off some of the stuff for like these bonuses. So that's like these are low levels still, and it goes and goes and goes all the way up to level 100 for each of
ooh,
the five.
that is a
The
lot of stuff.
It is. If you play regularly, like every day for literally a year, you can cap them. For some people, I think they were looking at anywhere. I think the math. Someone said 12 to 18 months, somewhere in there. Most people won't play that hard.
Yeah, I mean, I could see somebody just no lifing it, and then be like, "Well, why is there nothing left to do?" And
On a good note, you literally cannot go faster than that. There's there are caps. Yeah, it's about 70 days per tree.
ooh,
Yeah. Again, if you are running hard and every day and take the max amounts of stuff you can do. So I wanted a headshot. I spent the points. Boom. Now I have a bonus towards that because I use the spit dart a lot. And then you can take pack mule. So or add to your augment stuff, which means like every weapon you give me the blueprint, I make the weapon for you. It'll have that extra slot. So it's encouraging people to diversify again.
oh,
And this is something that was really great. You don't have to run it every day. You could come in on the weekend and run it hard. But that resets. Your cap for any given day is 35. What are you calculating that?
going hard on the weekend.
Can't take you anywhere. Absolutely cannot take you anywhere.
That's why
Uh,
you locked me in the basement.
so and here's the thing: if I run a that mission, I get 1,000, right? I get my 1,000. If I go run a level 1 lab, I get 1,000. If I run a level 10 lab, I get 1,000. That part doesn't change. So if I don't want the pain, if I just want that 1,000 points for the reward, that's okay. The scaling is there, I think, for people who are really chasing the augments, which is fine. Which is fine. Oh, a word of warning, and I think people who have been playing will agree. Make sure that your belt and your power pack are in good working order. Ideally, take spares. Before I went with Croniel to the Broodworks and to these 2 or 3 labs that we ran, he said, "How's yours looking?" I'm like, "It's a brand new one. It's a tier 6. It's great." And he's like, "Okay." And I got back and it had literally a sliver left on it. I was getting a warning that equipment's about to break because I had it, just a sliver left.
Ew.
Yeah, it was pretty extensive. So I have left to show the Broodworks, which is Sandflies, Blushing Caverns, and a testing station. Do you have a preference, Kason, on which one we show first?
Not really.
Not really. Okay. So let's start with the Broodworks. You really hold on. Let me do. You do not want to go into these places in T5. I mean, there will be somebody, just like they insist that they're soloing all the DD labs. There will be somebody who can make it work in T5. These are not the DD NPCs. This is very correct. You are going to want tier 6 at the least. Blueprinted ones, uniques, if you can find them. Because these guys are spicy. Yeah. And you're going to go, your equipment is going to take a beating. Your equipment's going to take a beating. So it's going to change the way people approach things. I think most of us are going to have to kind of switch up our MO a little bit. But yeah, I followed Croniel, and like I said, he and I have played together. He knows my limitations, and he was very generous with it. The problem being is by the time I got caught up with him half the time, everybody was dead. So,
I know how that is.
I at least ask you, or, do you want me to leave these guys for you?
Do you know how many times I've lined up a headshot on somebody and they're dead?
You gotta speak up.
You speak
up. It's like, I'm trying to get up there, right? There's 2 snipers. I get hung up. I go around and get up there and they're already dead. It's just like, thanks, Croniel. But yeah, one of the things I wanted to show is these guys, in Haga Basin, you shoot some of these guys once in the head with a sniper dart, spit dart, they're down. Now this is the snipers in Smuggler's Run. I came around the corner, I had a shield on, they one-shot me. I was like, what the fuck? You should not be able to one-shot me. But these guys have shields, and these shields are not weak. And I love the fact that there is a thopter stuck in the side of the thing there. Also, like when you run with the rapier, you hold it backwards.
Yep, see, that situation right there.
Yeah, the elevation and the bars, the way that they set this up for the snipers, it is very difficult to snipe them back. It's not impossible, but it is difficult. But this is what I was saying. You can get a little bit of tier 3 or tier 6 stuff up in here, but it's tiny bits. Stuff you will not get in Haga Basin, though. I'm like, okay, which way do I go? Back out the front. But this has got some of the what I wanted to show about the suspensor blast. But see, normally that would deal, that's music I put over the track. Let me turn that down a little bit. We were on Discord when we were running this, but see, he's hard. You have to hit him a couple of times. You can't just one shot him with the slow blade. And Croniel's offering air support. Because we were on Discord, I forgot to set up the audio properly, so all you hear is him telling me, go over here, over here, over here. But these guys are a lot spicier than Haga Basin sandflies.
So I kind of like the rapier, but the stab slice thing, I'm not too sure about, because it feels like it would be easy for it to be, and like the melee NPCs to dodge around it like they were doing. But I mean, that may just be me and you know, usual old man grumpiness.
No, it's okay. It's a new skill, and you might prefer going back to a regular sword, because I think you're using the jolt sword right now, right? Or are you using the poison mist?
House rapier.
Okay.
I
See,
was
and
trying
another,
to learn some of the stuff that you can build in the game,
yeah.
and uh, I just wanted to try the rapier, try and see how it was, because you know, why not?
And your absolute refusal to use blueprints where you could get a poisoned one. See, I'm down here dealing with these guys. Cornell's already up top. He's dealt with the 3 guys up there.
This feels like footage of me and you playing, except you're Cornell and I'm you. I'm over here getting my ass whooped by melee. Just he's beating the crap out of me, and you're like, "Are you done? Can I kill him now?"
He's trying. He's like chucking grenades. He's throwing a spit dart. You can see where he's like, come on. He was very polite about it though. So, but the Broodworks was all sandflies, and basically, it's the map is all of the sandflies stuff that's on Haga Basin, and they take it and they kind of place it in different places here, and it's all in the dark too, and it's very vertical. There was one of them I fell off twice because I have talent. Yeah, I on my main I now have the Crit Viper, but again I've put we have like 5 boxes of blueprints that this man refuses to touch. Yeah, I can't help him. I don't know. I mean, our world is pretty quiet, and there's not much for sale on the market. Every now and then I see someone try to sell something stupid like a poison mist, and I'm like, I can literally get that one for free without any fighting, without any effort. I'm not paying you 50,000 Solari for that. Are you laundering money? What are you doing with that? Don't. See, now you're wanting me to go into the deep desert, and I'm just now getting my ping sorted now. And if I had someone else join with me, where we could like go, and because I know you run in and you run out. In theory, you're in and out, no fights. You just watch me fight stuff. You literally just watch me fight stuff. And the other one that I really wanted to show was the testing station 136, and this is the fire one. And I think most of everyone who has run the testing stations has run this one. Someone took your software hull to 0. How did that sounds very expensive. Very expensive. 1 second. I'm getting pings. Who's pinging me?
Oh, ain't me.
Okay, Serena, I didn't see that one, but we've done it. We did that in beta. Serena just sent me a picture of stuff that we did in beta, and where we used to stick buggy chassis to the walls.
Okay.
So before the current storage system we have now, used to be if you had stuff in your vehicle storage, you had to take it manually into your personal inventory, run it to wherever your boxes were, and run it back and forth. It was the worst. Then they had it to where it's similar to now, but the tether your vehicle had to be like right next to the box to be able to use the drop down, right? Which if anybody in your guild parked like a dumbass, they would block the road, and it was still, it's running back and forth. So what we did was when we had the longer when we got the first tether, we would stick a buggy somewhere kind of like halfway in between the garage and the production site. So I would open up my vehicle or go to the buggy and just use it as a storage thing. And it was a relay. And it was, I remember one of the guys in our guild was like, why are you doing that? Because we essentially had them hidden inside columns or under the floor. He's like, why are you doing it? Because I don't feel like running. Our first big base for high walls that Lyft built for us was this giant redunculous thing, and it was literally like 10 floors from the garage to the production floor. So you run and run and run. Every time you did a buggy run, it was the worst. So we were trying to find some way to make it less painful. And the buggy on the wall or buggy on the ceiling was one thing that we could do until they fixed it. So now that we're anywhere now in the sub 5, your vehicles can reach any box, which is quite nice. It's a huge quality of life thing. But yes, we used to stick vehicles to the walls. Basically, you stick everything on there, but like the engine and the power supply, and it'll stick. Excuse me, you don't have to put treads on it. Just have a buggy. I will show that next time, though. Definitely. Courtney also showed me this button in the lab. You press the button and that whole room blows up. It's quite nice because the red containers of death are, not nice. Turn down this volume a little bit. Because buttons, yeah. And another thing that might be a reason that I don't run these a lot by myself is they're all very dark. And so that means all the effects and things are very striking in the dark, which makes it very difficult for me. We did run the electric one, and if you've run that one, we saw it in the trailer. It's got all the electric Jacob's ladder looking thing, and there was at one point all these particles of electricity essentially come out, and I was like, no. It looked like my screen was like snow.
Ew.
Yeah. See, even like this is a lot of stuff going on the screen. So we did a couple of rooms like that, and then we did the boss, who thankfully has a health bar. She is a bitch, though. And this is why you don't have any shield or power pack or anything left by the end, because you're just like, heal. When there's a bajillion heal kits inside there between you and this guy, pick them up. Pick them all up. But basically all of the bosses are like this. They come at you with their thing, whether it be poison or in this case fire. There's the electric one. I have not been in the dark one though, but apparently that one uses the Bendu thing. So they appear behind you.
Was that globs of fire he was shooting out?
Yes. It's essentially like a napalm. That's what I think of it as. It's just throwing globs of flaming junk at you. Like so that.
Sci-fi fireball.
Yeah. So, and it's worse to me than the regular old flashing flamethrower because it seems to stick more. Like I said, like napalm.
Yeah.
And my goal, I was trying to distract him so that Cornell could actually do some damage because he likes to focus on one, and then these assholes show up. And they're a lot tougher than, this was like a level 5 or 6, I think. They're a lot tougher than Hugger Base and Sandflies. Because you go up and you stab Hugger Base and Sandfly twice and they go down. And I'm in tier 6 gear with a tier 6 armor, so waiting for my stuff to come back. I'm pretty useless in a fight, by the way, in case you haven't noticed. But yeah, he's throwing globs of fire.
Oh.
But you can get that weapon at the end.
Ooh.
This is why you want your compactor. And even then, yeah, my whole screen's all pixelated because it's just like fire. But waiting for my stuff to recharge. But all of the labs are going to be this way, where you're going to go through waves of a themed, and I had fat fingers trying to get on this particular button. Where you're going to go through a whole bunch of NPC, then you're going to fight your bad guy. I'm on fire. Okay. And you just continue to escalate the difficulties as you choose to do so. And running at level 1, you get your 1,000 points for the Landsraad. Yeah, I think there was a couple of different contracts we could take in here. One thing that to remember is difficulty 3. If I died in there, I'd be locked out. I could respawn, but I could not rejoin the fight, and he would have to run by himself to finish the rest of that, which can be a problem, especially if you have the difficulty level cranked up, because if you crank it for 2 people at level 6 and there's only 1 person at level 6, it becomes a bit more challenging. Just a little bit more. And I think I had one more to show. And that was Blushing Cavern. So we can talk over this one too. This one was one I think we took 3 contracts in here. But essentially, I mean, these are going to, I think, be a way for players to challenge themselves to do more difficult things. You can run them back to back. You can run, I think we had 3 contracts in this one. You can see all the mission markers. Now, this one, like Blushing Caverns and the Broodworks, do not scale, just the testing stations. But it is recommended, for most of us to go in as a team, because they're still going to be pretty spicy.
Yeah, I've kind of noticed like there is a lot more enemies in this area than usual.
Yeah, these are slightly, I would say they're more difficult than, I mean, I can go into a cave on the Arrow in the deep desert. See, there went my shield. Wait for my power to come back up. I can go into the Arrow, into the caves there, and I can handle those. That's the level of my abilities. And but these are a lot more spicy. I've not tried more difficult ones in Deep Desert, because up until recently my ping was so bad.
Yeah.
I think I had shared some. Yeah, see, I wanted to go to Smuggler's Run, and then I was an idiot and forgot to take a vehicle, and then stuff came up and I didn't get back on, and then the board changed, and then I couldn't get that contract back, because I was like, I want to go in. I want to take a treadwheel in there because I think it'd be hilarious. But it is, I think, and I'm following like Croniel, who's like, come over here, and I'm like, over where? Because he's run it like 15 jillion times already. Is Tai Chi the radiation one, or is that one of the testing stations? Because I haven't been in there either. But hold on, buttons. I clicked the button. Tai Chi is a radiation wick. So yeah, you're going to want to take the tier 6. Who's he? What's it? And the
radiation lab and boss.
Yeah. So you're going to take the tier 6 rad suit and those pills that you get from. I picked up some in the poison lab. So that is, yeah. One thing that I'm looking forward to on that, I guess, for lack of a better term, is the radiation effects have changed in the test bed from what's currently, because right now it's very visually difficult for me to follow. But I'm worried that given the extent of like the fire effects and electricity effects, that I still won't be able to run it. We'll need to find a team of some badass people to carry me. And I know our group is all very willing and eager, but we are not badasses. We are
Speak for
minions.
yourself. I'm worm bait.
See, we are not badasses. We have our talents, but that is not one. That is not one.
It does feel like even flying the Thopter now, I'm like, I am nowhere near the worm. Why is it following me?
It knows you're there.
Yeah, like I'll go out of my little base and stuff, and like just right there in the Eastern Vermilius Gap, and just hey, how's it go? Woo! Nope, not today.
It's yeah, yeah. But yeah, none of these locations have worms, so that will be nice. You'll be safe there.
Yeah. See, that's something that's kind of bugged me though. Is like because I went down last night to the starting area. Can't, I think the basin, and I kind of noticed like there's a lot of worm activity. There's a lot of spread out. There's a lot of you got to run and try to follow the islands and do everything. But I've also noticed that like up until you get up to the deep desert, like all of that goes away. I mean, I know there's human enemies now, but it kind of feels like the difficulty level is a little backwards. Does that make sense?
You are not the first person to say that. There's a feeling that it should get more difficult, but it feels like Haga Basin South, the starting area, Vermilius Gap. Once you're out of those areas, hydration is not so much a problem. Heat's not so much a problem. The worms not so much a problem. The environment becomes a lot smaller challenge once you get the game going. I mean, the deep desert has, you'll need to carry more water with you, but that's the only environment. I mean, the storms are bigger, so you'll want to be aware of when you're flying out. If you're not in a scout, you'll be one aware of places that you can duck and cover because a storm will
Yeah,
trash your vehicle. Um, but yeah, the environment once you get kind of out of the first third of the game, your environment is not really a challenge anymore.
yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's fun to like stand on my base, on the very top of my base, and just kind of watch the worm go do his thing, or stand somewhere and watch
Oh
like
yeah,
the sun rise and
oh
set
yeah.
and stuff like that. I mean, I understand that with new players, you want them to kind of get the idea of the game, but it's like it sets you up to dodge the worm, watch your water, watch the heat. Are you getting you know sun? Are you being overheated? Everything, and it's like it kind of gives you that. These are the basics of the game, but then you get up to the later stages of the game. The rift and the deep desert and things like that, and that doesn't happen as often. I mean, I know part of it's also gear because I mean I've gotten recently into the aluminum, I think,
Mhm.
tier, and it just kind of. I mean, the enemies, the human enemies, yeah, they get a lot more aggressive and a lot more. They're tougher to kill and stuff, but it's like it would kind of it would make more sense to me maybe that you got to try and kill them while also dodging the worm because the worm's angry.
Yeah, I mean, there was a time that the survival stuff was more difficult. It's a lot more difficult, and they kind of had to ramp it back. I agree. I think they ramped it back a little too much. We should still have a bit more heat. I think even on the Haga Basin Shield Wall, we should be struggling a bit more with heat. Um, Definitely, I think there needs to be some kind of balance. I mean, we don't want it to be. But we had the same problem in Conan. The only real environmental things were like early on was the sandstorm, which you can dodge because it always runs the same track. And then
Yeah,
once you hit level 30, you can make the mask, and now you're impervious to the sandstorm. And that just leaves. There's a few spots that'll get hot, like the volcano, and
yeah,
the like the bridge of the betrayer that gets really cold. So there's armor that helps with that, and there's food that helps with that. but
And I
you know,
mean,
it's
with
like you're standing on the bridge of the Potato all the time.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, and the resources in that game, you just capture a bunch of thralls and then spam thralls everywhere, and bam.
Yeah, this was a very long discussion I saw you have on the official Discord, and you kind of cross posted into mine about how still suits just don't feel like they're needed. And I'm a still suit wearer. I almost always wear a still suit because I think it's more thematic. They look good to me. But yeah, there needs to be a balance. There needs to be some reason to have the still suit because the water is not as. I mean, you can get a deciliter John and carry that
I
or
mean, I
two.
carry three leader johns because I was always coming from the beginning of the game. It was oh my god, I need water, I need water, I need water. I might use a quarter of one, and I've
Yeah,
actually debated like stripping the other two and recycling them just for the parts.
yeah, or because you just moved into Dura. I mean, you've got a bigger catch pocket now than you had before. And as you go through your trainers, is it sword that gives you? Oh, hold on, we got an ad break. Um, One of the trainers gives you a buff to hydration or two. There's survival stuff that are in the trainers that will make it even better. Ooh, back. Hopefully back. Um, but there needs to be some balance because I mean, the drawback of the IP is a lot of people. We saw this in the beta. A lot of people. This is true. This is true. Um, it's a type of still suit,
Yeah,
and it carries a lot of water in it. Um, I think doesn't the blurb say something about how he never has to because he never takes it off because he always pees in it. Um, we saw this in the beta where people came and had signed up for the beta because they saw it was a Dune game, and they didn't make it 30 minutes in because they did not know how to play a survival game. And to be fair, early on there was no little tutorial thing. It was like, here's the desert, have on.
good luck. Yeah,
Yeah. So the current soft tutorial that we have now is because all those people couldn't cope. So trying to find that balance of people who were here for Dune and people who were here for survival games. And those of us who like survival games, this is the survival part is a little soft. It's not as. But I mean, I was looking today across all of all of the clients that I have had for Dune for the different versions who were doing the different beta runs and everything. I've got about 2,100 hours in this game, and it occurs to me if it was still hard at this point, I should probably give up. And part of it there is a curve for different types of players, but yeah, I think as especially it should be getting harder as we go north, but because everything else gets harder, everything should tier up. I mean, it tells you, your biome heat is increased. So,
yeah, okay.
yeah.
I mean, even my thopter still runs normally, flies. I mean, I can sit there and fly around, leaving the engine running, and it won't overheat.
No.
And
Uh,
you vulture for like 2 minutes, and poof, the heat's gone.
yeah. There heat is a mechanic pretty much. Uh, oh God, Paolo wasn't able to make it today, but he was off for the last 2 weeks from work, and in those 2 weeks, 3 weeks, somewhere in like about 3 weeks, we've got now 10,000 more plasts than we had before, and there was times we had like 20 water, and 2 million to 20. It's like don't get me wrong, we need the plast, but I'm glad that he had stuff to do today, so I could let the water recharge because you could only throw bodies in so fast. You know, you only throw bodies
Yeah,
in
I
so
remember
fast.
because we had to go out and get bodies, and then we had to go out to the deep desert, grab stuff from a spot, and it was like I mean, just yeah,
If you're doing plast production, it's a full on like aluminium. You can throw it in and come back later. It's not a big deal. You got filters running. It's fine. Plast is full on. You kind of have to be on water duty, and we've got three large wind traps, two of the smaller wind traps, and three death stills, which is pretty small. But we're a small group. Normally, for everything else, it's plenty of water.
yeah.
It barely budges. Plast production, it just goes poof. And you can only throw the bodies in so fast before you're like, where's the water? you know, you'll be on those litter johns for a little bit while you're waiting for those to come back. But I think looking at Conan, they had a hard time when they first put the heat mechanic in. It was cranked too hard. There were places like in the middle of the map where you're like dying. I'm like, I should not be dying here. So I know it's probably a difficult mechanic to work in, but I really do wish that we had more heat threat, because if they're wanting us to diversify our skills, if they're wanting us to diversify our weapon loadouts, or if we're wanting us to be mindful of and particular about what tools we carry, because you don't need to carry a blood extractor and 5 bags and 3 litter johns and a dew sickle and your cutter and you don't need to carry all of these things. You need to pick. If survival games are about resource management, you need to kind of, what am I doing with this? But there's no a solid reason to, outside of Haga Basin South, to use the still suit. Once you get up into steel tier, it kind of becomes a non thing. And yeah, we have the death stills. We don't collect any blood anymore, but we do use the water traps. Um, I'm hoping once once we get once he goes back to work, the production will level out a little bit to something more tolerable, because I'm like, I'm spending all my time running around sticking bodies in this thing, and I'm like, I can only refill this box of bodies so many times. I got 3 boxes of bodies and they're all empty. Where'd all the bodies go? And the answer is into the death stills, because over and over. We probably should. I just don't feel like it. I'm hoping once we get over this production hump, we'll be okay. We haven't run any spice in this last 3 weeks because water, But that's okay. Like I said, I. We will be ready, I think, for when Chapter 3 drops. I think they said they were aiming for the end of January, but that was before they came back and had the big pile of trouble tickets from everything that people were doing over well, thank you for the follow. Um, Over the 2 weeks when they were out. So there were, a lot of trouble tickets, little this, glitches here, glitches there, some bigger issues popped up, I think, in the PTC. It was kind of hard to follow sometimes because it kind of devolved into, I'm a better tester than you, or I won't do trouble reports, or I think this thing's broke. No, it's not. Um, as things do. So it made it very difficult for me to really kind of get a good grasp of some things without, getting kind of lost in it. There's so much coming with this particular update. So I think my thinking is maybe first week of February, second week of February, someone in there. If it comes sooner, then I will be pleasantly surprised and everything will be great and sunshine and roses. Right? It'll be awesome. We have no plans to move when they make the transfers open. We've had some new people show up on our world, which is great. Can't complain about that. The board is busy. We finally have some activity in the auction house, but I don't know if they'll stick around if they can move, because they just got the game over the holidays, so they might choose to move to a more populated world. I don't know. I don't know. Activity is good though. I think it's just nice to feel people around. I see people out sometimes. You know, I'm in EU as well. We play East Coast US, and sometimes when I'm on, it's very quiet. Sometimes I look at like I use AWU tools to kind of get an idea, and um, sometimes I was surprised it was 30 people on the other day, and I'm like, that's a lot of people. That's a lot of people for us. And I think there's now is a good time to be kind of finding your new peeps if you're wanting to move. There's people on Reddit looking for players. There's people on Discord looking for players. But I think what worked well for us after the beta and spending all those months with people is you kind of find people that you find your peeps. You find people who play like you, and you're most likely to stay in that spot and play together because you have similar play styles or similar um, things to do. We lost two bases that I'm aware of to the backup tool. We've had a couple get abandoned, which is always sad to see. But there's still some active bases on our worlds. There's one, two, I know three or four off the top of my head. Oh, we love base moms. We love a base mom. We are down for the base mom. Um, everybody needs at least one. Otherwise, things just get chaos, and it's really hard to keep track of. I mean, like we have dump boxes. You go into the garage or the hangar. Look, there's a dump box. Just throw your stuff in there if you don't want to mess with it. But experience has shown that if you don't have someone kind of clean up around the edges, it can turn into utter chaos very, very quickly. And yeah, base mom is absolutely. I can't imagine anybody not wanting a base mom unless they're absolute slobs, and then they would not earn my respect. They would not earn my base momness. It's, ours is not as organized as I would like it to be. But it's on its way. It's on its way. So we still have some boxes to move around. We still have some stuff in aluminium boxes, but you can see where stuff is going to be, right? Jason's being very quiet. He's like, yes, your base building is awesome.
I'm just trying not to say a lot of jokes that would probably get us banned.
Now I'm curious.
Nope.
No?
No, I've already said the A word, so we got to be really careful. Otherwise, we're going to have a bunch of angry men in here, white men that are mad about whatever.
The amount of bases I've looted where every container is a dump container. Yeah, we've found a bunch of those that you're just like, it's some components from the deep desert, and it's some fiber and some half wrecked vehicle parts, and just like, what were you just throw all this stuff in, or they'll have some random assortment of boxes, and it's like, why, if you've got plast over here, why are you still using the little scrap metal boxes for stuff that's not very efficient?
Well, I mean, to be honest, I am a very just kind of walk by and drop stuff off. I don't sort it out because,
But that's what we
yeah.
have dump boxes. We specifically have two boxes in the garage on the ground floor for throw shit in, and there's that
Uh-huh.
box in the hangar for it.
And there's the lady that comes every time we play, and I go up there to drop off stuff, chases me around and goes, "No, drop it here, drop it there, drop it there, drop it there, drop it there." And I'm like, "Yes, mistress. Right away, mistress. Will do, mistress."
I asked you, do you want to know where this goes? You said yes, so I showed you where it goes. If you want to use the dump boxes, use the dump boxes. That's what
So
they're
I
there
should have
for.
just kept my mouth shut.
You should answer the correct question.
I don't even know what's going on half the time. I am just kind of off in space, and then I come back and I'm like, "Oh, hey, how are we? What are we doing?"
No, we don't have any base moms right now, and but once we've got moved, we're in our new home, and we're pretty well sorted. I think we're fairly well organized. Um, the ability to move stuff through vehicles is very handy now. And the only time we really have a whole lot of overflow issues is like when Paolo comes back with so much ore, and you have to kind of stuff it in corners while you wait for it to run.
He is very dedicated, and
He
he's an
loves.
awfully nice person. Like I sometimes I'm not sure how to handle it because I'm like, how are you so nice?
He is wild nice, and he really loves driving that buggy around the deep desert. I'll take it. I'll take it. He keeps us in plast, and if I ever say we're low on bodies, he'll come with a buggy full of buggies. You know, just like he's like, here I come. So that's really good, and us combined, you know, we gather enough stuff for us to contribute some in the Landsraad. We do have a nice stash of tier 6 components to get us ready for all of these upcoming changes, because we will want tier 6 um, going into it. There's also, we don't know a whole lot yet about the new chapter 3 story itself. That's still locked. They did not give us access to that, so we don't know what that will be like. But yeah, there's
Yeah,
good stuff coming.
yeah, because there was the Cobra Commander guy, the big arena.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot going on there that I'm just kind of like, what are you up to now, Joel?
You still need to finish chapter 1 and 2.
Well, you know, you haven't even finished chapter 2, so hush.
Not on live. No, no, I need to. I was like, I really need to get
Mhm.
focused and finish that. I'm about halfway through it. I've done the big sad part. Now I just have to get to the puzzle part, which mm, I've done it on the PTC. I did chapter 2 on the PTC from before when we started over and all that stuff. But um, it's kind of tedious in the middle. It's kind of tedious in the
Yeah,
middle.
I get it. Because puzzle games are always tedious.
Yeah, it's a whole lot of scan this thing, run back and forth, and then just like after a while, you're just like clicking until it lets you go past. I don't even
Yeah.
remember half of what it said at this point. I know I'm a bad lore person at that point, but I was so frustrated. I mean, it's a cool concept, and it's the running around. It's the running around that was just kind of eh. You know, you spend a lot of time in Arakeen. But I think on that note, because we have spent so much time in Arakeen the last 2 chapters, I think for the next chapters, we already know we're going to Harko Village. And so we know there's going to be some more Harko love. I think my guess, my hope is that we'll see some more Harko building pieces like we did for the Atreides stuff at the start. We have had lots of Atreides stuff. I want to believe that we'll see some Harkonnen stuff, some Harkonnen building pieces or more clothing bits like we saw before. I'm not keen on that one Atreides thing that they did that you had to pay for to get. That was kind of crap. But that was a Twitch thing. That was not necessarily a Funcom thing, but it was not the greatest. I don't like making people pay for that. So I want to believe, I want to hope. Now, in was it Phaedra's apartment in Arakeen? I want all of her decor. I want all of her decor for my place. She had like rugs and lights and bric-a-brac, and I want all of that. That was the only good reason to run it. You're walking through there going, I want that, I want that, I want that. It's like going through Pier 1. But it was good. Hold on. So, Servina really, really wanted me to show this.
And now I've got the butt spider stuck in my head too.
um, or since the calendar set did come with a specific edition, maybe it'll be a DLC stuff. Maybe it'll be drops. Yeah, Kason, what?
In the movie, when they're standing there with the mentat, when he's standing there with the mentat and the Bene Gesserit, uh, there was a spider thing made by the Ix that had a butt crack. I don't know how else to describe it, and it was just weird and just not an image I wanted in my head.
But no, you felt the need to share it with us.
Share the love.
You felt the need for all of us to know about the spider butt crack.
Hey, at least I'm not going on about the invasion from the Harkonnens when the Atreides old Eric, because that invasion just, yeah.
Whatever do you mean?
The drop ships, when they drop, they came out of it too early, and there is no way that many cannons couldn't have just do the entire thing. But, yeah,
Well, remember for the Battle of Arakeen that the Atreides didn't know they were coming. That was the point. They had this. They had surprise, and they had the shields were down.
well, I know, but still, at the same time, the cannons were coming online and everything. So,
So yeah, it was sabotage. I mean, that was the whole point behind that. Yeah, and it took them there was a whole lot of scrambling of why is my button not working.
yeah. But I
But
mean, in situations I've been in life where you've had to, even if you know that they don't know you're coming and you still got to come in, you come in hard. Like your feet go into your brain, slamming into the ground, and you're out, 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 go, 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 go. And then you run and do stuff. And like, they're just like, oh, yeah, let's take our time. We'll live. Oh, oops. Oh, well, screw it.
Harkonnen troops are, no one cares if they die.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
We'll just make more.
I know it's movies, it's things, it's not real life, and
When you are down in the rift, to tell you how the Harkonnens don't care. When you're down in the rift, you find a recorder by a dead Harkonnen who was very clear about who she was, who her family was, and she did not desert because she's like, "Don't go after my family."
yeah,
And so, the Harkonnens, they don't care. They absolutely
yeah.
don't.
I mean, the starter card did use the suspenders, but it was like just I don't know. It was a. I was watching it the other day, and I'm like, that is way too early to be popping out. Like, because they got the little balloon things, and like they're coming in, and they're still like way up there, and they just pop the balloons and just coast on in, and I'm like, mm, that was a Robin plan or Rabin. That was his plan. That was his idea.
He's not. Rabat is about as smart as a bag of hammers. I mean,
Yeah,
he just
I do love the way that Dave Bautista plays him, though. Of just this, you can go from we're just having a conversation to I have bashed your skull in, and there's no in between there because I mean that's the way he was.
yeah, absolutely. He's the Baron realized that um, early on that him taking on Raban as a potential heir was not going to work. He knew that Raban was dumb and he was prone to violence, which was only proven when Raban killed his brother,
Yeah,
um, the Baron's brother. But to get around that and to get an heir that wasn't dumb as rocks and useless, is he pretty much kidnapped his nephew and had mentats raising. It's one of the reasons he's kind of sociopathic. And he's like, we're going to raise
yes,
you, in a very controlled way. So that way, whatever influence the biological parents had would not be there to, because I guess he thought Raban sometimes was too soft. I'm like, he's not soft. He's just dumb. And
yeah,
he's not soft. He's too blunt. He has no cunning. He has no ability to strategize his way out of a wet paper bag. and that's why he couldn't hold Arrakis himself.
Well, I mean, like in the movie during when he goes to fight Paul for the first time, his idea is just send the troops in. We'll clear them out that way. And it's like these are people that literally fight with guerrilla tactics, and your best idea is to go into their home territory
Hmm.
with a bunch of rocks and sticks and expect it to work. Like,
Yeah. Well, in the books, when the Fremen fought the Sardaukar, they're like, "Who are those guys?" And they're like, "Those the Sardaukar. Those are the Emperor's best." And the Fremen were like, not too bad."
yeah.
That's
I mean, this is the people that for generations have fought a guerrilla war. Like, you're
yeah.
not, they wait till you come, you know, right there. Oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm American. We do some stupid stuff. So,
Yeah. But that was, I mean, we see it in the trials where they're telling you, we are a hard people because we have to be, because our God loves us so much. He makes us struggle and strive and sharpen ourselves to survive the end of the universe. And that's how God shows us his love. He's going to be hard, and he's going to make us a hard people, because only this hardness will survive. And they're taught that from the instant their first breath is, you got to be hard. And if you aren't um, capable of holding your weight, if you're not capable of giving back, you get fed to the desert. There's no softness there. Shawnee, you saw how people want to think the Fremen are the good guys. Shawnee, starts draining the blood out of a guy who wasn't even dead yet, and she just kind of slaps him away. She's like, he's not even human to her.
yeah. Well, I mean, and it just kind of, and it's kind of funny that they grew up with that mindset, and then they get out into the universe, and they're like, "Oh, this is some bullshit," and they're just like, "No, these people are soft. We need to cull them like we culled ourselves," and then
Yeah,
they go for so long, and then now they're culling each other again because, well, you've just gotten too soft again, and it's that
they
rinse and repeat cycle of just
they someone had pointed out at the end of the second movie, someone was insisting that Paul could have gone diplomat at the end. I'm like, no, no, no. That would not have ended well for Paul. If Paul had not said, take them to paradise, if Paul had not moved them forward and let them loose, they would have turned on him in an instant.
yeah,
And whenever they have that momentum in a direction, they went and did their thing. But the second Paul was kind of like, they're going to eat each other. They thought he didn't go hard enough, and that's where the whole fracture with the preacher and all that stuff happens. And there's always going to be somebody who thinks you're not going hard enough, and Paul couldn't do it. Billions and billions of people were not enough for
yeah.
some of them.
I mean, I'm trying to avoid some of the more controversial topics that Herbert had, because especially about religion and politics and
Yeah,
leaders and
he was. We can say he was a product of his times.
yeah, because
And yeah,
I mean, there's a certain view about it. Like if you look at it, you can kind of see where he was going with it about religious dogma, but yeah.
the same time there was some problematic things that he said about a lot of groups.
To be fair,
He
acid is fun.
acid and
Don't do
shrooms,
drugs.
psychedelics. Yeah, but he also had some views that were kind of,
Yeah,
yeah. And so it from a broader meta context, thinking about writers like that, you have to take some stock in, okay, this person was very complex, and we don't hold those views um, anymore. He may have written a great story, but these things are problematic. Like who was the guy who wrote Ender's Game? Very problematic. Um,
Interview with the Vampire and Anne Rand.
Yeah. So we can look at them with a variety of lenses. We can look at him as a person and go, yeah, he was kind of a dick.
Yeah.
Um, but he did say this thing here that was meaningful, which is beware those prophets, beware of the there's a whole lot there that's still, and J.K. Rowling, is complex because her stories got a lot of people interested in reading that weren't interested in reading before. But as a person, she's kind of, you know,
It's kind of one of those things. I think there needs to be like talk about it. That yes, this person's good or this person's bad or whatever. But like as far as the plot and the context of the books and the context of any media around it, I mean, it's just the whole thing, and yeah. But we
yeah,
should probably end this since we're getting into those conversations.
it can make looking at stuff complex. And yeah, this was something my son and I have talked
Yeah,
about.
I didn't know about Lovecraft's cat's name until
Yeah,
like a few years ago, and I was like, oh,
Lovecraft is racist as fuck. Um, when a problem that Rowling has specifically is because she does fund things directly from her profits that are so problematic for many. Um, waiting till they're gone. But yeah, Lovecraft, very problematic person. Lots of authors. The Me Too movement. A lot of authors that I liked ended up. And I was like, oh, that's unfortunate. If they're contrite, okay. If they're not, well, darn, I'm just not going to read their books anymore. And that's a personal choice. That's a personal choice.
yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that.
I, I mean, it's kind of like we mentioned last time the Starship Troopers stuff. Like, I
Yeah,
like the movie, I like the book.
right.
Doesn't mean I believe everything in there is correct.
Yeah, and separating, sometimes you have to be able to look at those things, and then it's difficult. Like I said, I was glad Orson Scott Card. When I read the Ender's Game, I had gotten a copy that like he's never going to make any money off of it. When they made the movie, he didn't make any money off of the movie because he's kind of a not a great person. And with a lot of really controversial personal views on things. uh, who was the actor who was in Firefly? Played Jane.
Oh, he's one of the Baldwin brothers.
Yeah, and just as off in that
Yeah,
zone. And she's like, well, darn, that was too bad. You know,
yeah,
it makes things complicated because you want to like the art, but you're like, I don't want to give them money because I want to choose where my money goes.
yeah. Well, welcome to late stage capitalism.
Adam Baldwin, yeah. To be
Adam,
fair,
yeah, I knew he was one of the
one of them,
Baldwin brothers. I mean,
yeah,
there's like 20 of them,
they,
so
they're a big family. Who was the Quaid brother that went off the rails? Randy Quaid. He
yeah, I
went
think it was Randy.
he went off into La La Land. I don't know. I think he was barely holding on before, and then he just like jumped right off the bridge into
Yeah,
Looneyville. Anyway, back to artists can sometimes be problematic, and it's can be difficult to navigate in a way that we can talk about it. Um, Without getting too overly involved. And dead authors are better authors in that sense because we don't fund them anymore.
yeah. I mean, Edgar Allan Poe. Everybody loves his work, but in life, he was literally described as a drunkard, kind of a rude, melancholic person, and it's like, yeah,
Beethoven was apparently a big asshole. Um, Bukowski, amazing poet. I would not want to be. I would not have wanted to meet him. I imagine he was a giant asshole.
yeah. So I mean, it's a balance of everything, but yeah, I mean, as far as Dune and everything, like the game and everything, my only gripe really right now is just the fact that you go in, you fight.
I was gonna say I remember Billy Connolly, so
Well, I mean, I'm from the American Southeast, so yeah, drunkard means a whole different thing here.
does it though?
It usually means somebody's getting shot,
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
or you're about to see some really. I mean, we're the reason the "hold my beer" statement exists. Because even when I was a kid in like the late '80s and early '90s and stuff, and you're seeing like people doing stuff, and it's just like, ooh. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Anyway,
but
the game
yeah,
is got new stuff coming. It will be interesting. I hope people come to play. Um, the PTC is ever evolving. I will keep my eyes on it. I know Servina was playing some. I know Lou was playing some, and a whole bunch of other people were playing some. I don't know if they still are because life happens and people had to go back to work from the holidays. So I will try to bring back more things next time when we meet back. Did you have anything else to add, Kason, before we wrap up?
I don't know. My kid just said, "What the fuck."
Mostly vacuum. Are you on NA or are you on EU? Because if you are on EU, hit me up tomorrow. I have some materials. Not a whole lot, but I can give you some. Um,
Be a parent, they said. It'd be fun, they said.
so I guess I should go let you deal with your what 10-year-old. He's 10 now.
Yes, he's 10, and I mean that's it's kind of a whole thing of just you shouldn't say that, but you're saying it in the right context.
Mostly vacuum. I have a base. Hit me up tomorrow. I will send you an invite, and you can come work out of my base. Just don't clean me out, okay? But I have water and the basic stuff. So I am not the Wicked Witch of the West, despite what some people think. um, no, I've got. I think the only bench I don't have is the vehicle bench, the big one, because we don't need it because we can spawn in vehicles. Um, but yeah, I've got water production, and I have stuff for the. I know, and Sorvina grabbed a bunch of stuff, and Vanessa gave us some mats. Sorvina loaded us up, so we have quite a bit. There's a few little bits and bobs that I didn't have, like the coolers, and I couldn't get them because the deep desert was down, and you can only buy so many at a time from the trade posts. But yeah, I have all the basic stuff. I have all the basic stuff. So hit me up tomorrow, and I'll send you an invite to my base. Yep. Just don't
But
tell people. I want to encourage people to think I'm mean. I don't need to encourage them that. They already think I am anyway. It's a mixed bag. Anyway, this is a good point to wrap up. We will come back next time with more from the PTC, and they started testing base transfers this weekend. I do not need to feed that rumor. It feeds itself. It feeds itself. Um, so we'll see what things look like on base transfers. We'll see what things are looking like as progression is going on with the augments and things in the PTC as more people are able to access them. They fixed the deep desert, I think, so people can get on and farm up some of that stuff because you need to have tier 6 things to do that. I think that's it. So until next time, we will catch you later. I will catch everybody out on the sands. Vacuum, hit me up, and I will add you to our base. So we'll catch you later. Bye bye.
bye.